Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Hana Mutiara, and today I am responsible as a moderator for today's seminar. In this occasion, we would like to have a presentation from Ms. Rhiza Fitri Salsabila, and the topic is water purification. Okay, for the seminar, there will be two sessions. First session is for delivering the topic, and second is the question and answer session. Okay, for Ms. Rhiza, are you ready for delivering the topic today?
Yes, Miss Hannah, I'm ready.
Okay, because Ms. Rhiza has been ready, so without any further ado, you can deliver your topic right now. The time is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Is my voice clear?
Yes,
Miss.
Yes, it's pretty
Okay.
clear.
Okay, thank you for responding. Okay, before I move into the main topic for today, I would like to ask one question to all of the audience in here. So, dear audience, is there any of you who use well for your drinking water and household supplies? You can just raise your hand if there is any of you, please.
Okay, I think Ms. Rhiza have a connection issue, so we will wait for her.
I apologize. Is my voice clear now?
Yes.
I'm sorry, the connection issue is really unpredictable. So let me repeat the question. So is there any of you who use the well for drinking water or household needs? If there is, you can just raise your hand, please. All right, we have Miss Valenza in here. Miss Valenza, you may give your answer or opinion.
Actually, I use well for the domestic household purpose, but the water is sometimes it's not clear and a bit smelly.
Oh, so you have like that complaint that the water from your well is a bit smelly and not clear.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other complaint about the water inside the well?
No, I think.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you, Ms. Valenza, for your answer. And then we will go right to the topic. Let me share my screen. Can you see it clearly?
Yes,
Okay.
Miss, it's clear.
Okay, then we'll go with the water purification. So for today's seminar, we're going to learn about a little bit actually about the water purification, because actually water purification is so big and there is a lot of wide range of technologies included. So this is just the simple form of water purification. So water purification needs to be done due to high demand of clear and clean water for major purposes like for industrial purposes, medical purposes, and also the biological purposes, and not to mention for domestic purposes like the household's needs and stuff. And also it is like stated according to United Nations World Health Organization in 2017, there are 2.1 billion people with no access to clear water. So this water purification is can actually solve this problem, but the what is the homework for the government is to make this water purification affordable for all of the levels in economical state of the individuals. So what is actually a water purification? So water purification is a process by which undesired chemical compounds, which is organic or inorganic materials, and also biological contaminants are removed from the water. So the key points in here is the chemical compounds that needs to be eliminated because it is not needed, and also it is some of them harmful. And also I already put a picture, two pictures to be exact. It is the water purification system back in the 80s. I'm sorry, back in like 200 years from now, before today. It's this water purification system. It is located in Gujarat, India, and you can see that the well in here. This is the well. This big, what is it? The big pot, the big distance in here. It's the well. So they kind of put the water from the rain season. They put it in here. They store it in here, and then when the dry season coming, they can supply the water for the individuals around the well. And then this one is in the corridor, in the left corridor. This one is the current water purification. It is located in Okubo. This is called Okubo purification water purification. It is located in Saitama prefecture in Japan, and it's supplied for 3.8 million people in Japan in Saitama prefecture to live on in daily basis. So we'll go to the system. It's a little bit complicated, but I will try to explain it into a more simpler form. So the first thing that it needs to do for the water purification system is the water intake. You can see that the water intake, in here is waterfalls, which is the water and then the water intake, and then it goes along to the long and big pipe, and then it goes alongside and then down road to the low lift pump. After the low lift pump, it's go along with the pipe again, and then they will add the coagulant addition. In this case, for the coagulant addition, the commonly used for the chemical compounds is the aluminum sulfate. So for the aluminum sulfate, it will be added as the coagulant, and then it will be mixed, the water and also the coagulant inside the flash mix tank. Inside the flash mix tanks, there will be mixed, and then the particles, viruses, bacteria, and other harmful creatures and also harmful materials, they will go together, they will be mixed together, and then they will form a new form of things called microflux. And then the microflux, again, they will be steered smoothly on the flocculation tank. So they will be steered like roughly in the flash mix tanks, and then they will be stirred but softly but continuously in the flocculation tank. And then after that, they will go through into the sedimentation tank. This sedimentation tank is pretty big and pretty deep because the sedimentation tank, they will add the water into the sedimentation tank and let it rest for about few weeks. And then all of the microflux, which is the microflux is like the micros, viruses, bacteria, and stuff, and other harmful creatures, they will go down into the very rock bottom of the tank, and then the clear water, it will go up, and then it will result in a more clear water for drinking water. And then after that, they go to a pipe again, a big long pipe again. And then after that, they will go into this tank, which is included in this rapid dual filter. So they will be filtered in the process called filtration. The filtration is varies. It's dual because the first filtration it's in the sun. You know the sun is like this small, and then the sun, it's the size of the filtration. So the filtration is really tight because the size of the filtration is in the size of the sand. And then after that, the last step, they will add the disinfection. And for the disinfection, they use the chlorine. For the chlorine, it is not the common chlorine that we can use in the pool, but it's the safe consume chlorine. Why? Because after the disinfection, it will go through the high lift pump, and then after that, they will be distributed into the households or industry or medical or like hospitals and stuff. And this chlorine will, the chlorine will act as the guard and then make this pipe is safe for this water to be distributed into each household. And then so that's for the long system of water purification. But there are three main aspects or three main points of this water purification. The first one is the coagulation. This one here is the coagulation, the first point. And then after that, there are like sedimentation point, which is it makes all the microflux into the rock bottom of the tank. And then last is the filtration phase. And then I think that's all for the water purification. Thank you so much for listening. And if there are any questions, I would really glad to answer it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Rhiza Fitri Salsabila, for delivering such an insightful presentation. And then, as I have promised before, that there will be a question and answer session, right? For the Q&A session, I will divide into two parts. For the first part, there will be 3 persons who can ask. And then for the second session, there will be 2 persons, so 5% in total. So the first session, for anyone who want to ask about water purification, you can raise hand feature. Okay, Naufal, we have Naufal, Anisha, and Rahil. Okay, Naufal, you can ask a question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. The moderator, for the given time. And first of all, thank you, Ms. Rhiza, for the amazing presentation. But I am curious about the picture that you already explained about the architecture in that picture, I believe. Yes, it looks like an architecture of ancient water purification, if I'm not mistaken, based from your explanation. I was curious, do they have a specific name? So it's look really interesting, and I really want to know the name of that architecture. Thank you very much.
Okay, Naufal, thank you for the question. So the question is the specific name for the architecture water purification building. Is that true?
Yes, the one that
Okay, thank you.
Rhiza explained before. Thank you.
Ms. Rhiza, do you want to answer directly, or you want to keep the questions, all the questions?
I think for this question, I will directly answer it.
Okay, okay. You may answer right now.
Okay, so this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this architecture, right, in this, okay, so this architecture, this one, it is called step well. So it's a well, but it's like a step. So you cannot see inside, but if you can actually see inside, there is like several levels of this huge tank or this huge pot. So there are like 3 or 4 levels, and each level is like already have 5 meters, 5 meters depth in each level. So the deeper it is, the clearer the water will be. I think that's the function and also the name for the step well.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rhiza, for the answer. How about the answer, Mr. Naufal? Is it enough?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the answer is enough and it's very clear now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And then we come to the second question, will be raised by Anisha. Anisha, you may ask the question now.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for letting me ask question. And also thank you, Ms. Riza, for your great explanation. I want to ask, so there are 3 main processes of water purification, which are coagulation, sedimentation, and also filtration, right? So out of the 3 process, which one is the most important process of all water purification? Did you get my question?
Okay, so for the question, which one is the most important process
Yes.
from water purification process? That's true. Okay. Okay, Miss Riza, do you want to answer directly?
Yeah, yes, just
Okay,
directly.
okay. Okay, you may answer
Okay.
now.
Okay, thank you for the question. Out of these 3 processes, in my opinion, the most important, I think, is the last one, or the third one, or the filtration. Why? Because actually filtration can be done not in this huge system and this complex system, but it can be done in our households. You can just filter your own water with the traditional water purification. Like you can just stack up some cloth, some some sand, and then you can just filter water from the particles. But yeah, it's just the important part because it costs very minimum and you can do it at home, and it is also work in most cases. I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Miss Riza, for the answer. How about the answer, Miss Anisha? Is it enough?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we come to the third question. Miss Rahil, you may ask the question right now.
Thank you for Miss Hannah to give me opportunity, and thank you Miss Riza for a great presentation. I'm curious about the sedimentation tank. So, for how long does the water need to be settled inside the sedimentation tank, and how large does the sedimentation tank commonly is? That's all.
Okay, thank you for the question, Miss Rahil. So for the question is, how long does the water need to be settled inside the sedimentation tank, and how large does the sedimentation tank commonly is? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Riza, you can answer the question.
Okay. For how long does it take? It actually it's few weeks. Actually, the normal time is few weeks, but from the source that I have read before, it varies between 2 until 4 weeks. So yes, the water has to be kept for around 2 until 4 weeks inside the sedimentation tank. And also for the sedimentation tank, it's a surprising fact because sedimentation tank looks like a little like small in here, but the sedimentation tank is actually the diameter is 60 meters long. Like it's only the diameters, it's 60-meter long, and the depth is not, it's around 5 until 6 meters deep. And yeah, I think that's for the size of the sedimentation tank.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rhiza, for the answer. Miss Wilhak, how about the answer? Is it clear?
Clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Wilhak. Okay, then there will be a second session of Q&A session. I will give opportunity to two audience. Okay, Miss Agnia and Miss Yulianita. Okay, first, Miss Agnia, you can raise your question right now.
Okay. Is there my voice?
Yes, it's clear.
Oh, okay. Thank you for Miss Hannah for the opportunity and for Miss Rhiza for such a great explanation. I want to ask, you mentioned earlier that after passing through the filtration, the water will goes to undergoes disinfection process. What kind of disinfection do they use? Is there any type other than the chlorine? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Agnia, for the question. So the question is, what kind of disinfection do they use in after the filtration phase? Okay, Miss Rhiza, you may answer.
May I collect the question
Oh,
first?
okay, you want to collect? Okay. Okay, then we come to the second question, Miss Yulianita.
Okay, thank you, Miss Hannah, for the opportunity, and thank you also for Miss Rhiza. So, before we do the process of water purification, I believe we have to decide the water intake source first, right? And I'm curious, which source is the best option for water intake? Do all sources are possible as long as the process is completed, or there are some water source that is cannot be used or have limitation or etc. Maybe that's all. Do you get the question?
Yes. So the question is about the water source, right? Which source is the best options for water intake? Is that
Yes.
true? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Yuli. Miss Rhiza, do you want to answer or do you have any time for answering the question?
Okay, I think I can directly answer the last question.
Okay.
Okay, for the last question from Miss Yuli, for the water intake, it's actually fine from any kind of places. Like the examples in here is the waterfalls, but to be specific, the waterfalls is like the very best source of this water purification, water intake. The source is the best from the waterfalls. Why? Because waterfalls is usually out of civilization, far from the civilization. So it's not like contaminated by such chemical compounds. So it's not dangerous. And also waterfalls directly coming from the mountain, and also the waterfalls is very clear. That's like the best. But it's actually can be done for river and also lakes, but just to make sure that the river and the lakes is not surrounded by the industrial or the household area, because it will be heavily contaminated by chemical compounds from households waste and industrial waste. I think that's for the water intake. And then yeah, that's for the last question. And then for Miss Agnia's question, oh, wait a second. Actually, for the disinfection, the chlorine is like the commonly used one, but there are also several chemical compounds. The name is, I forgot actually the exact name, but if I'm not mistaken, it's chloramine. It's similar with the chlorine, and it's actually similar with the chlorine, but for the chloramine, it's more specialized in doing this water purification for medical purposes. So the water should be like very, very, very sanitized before it needs to undergoes the medical purposes, because it will be directed for these hospitals and also the medical households around this water purification area. I think that's the best answer I can give. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Rhiza.
Okay, thank you for the answers, Miss Rhiza. How about the answer, Miss Yuli? Is it enough? Enough?
Yes, it's enough. Thank you, Miss Rhiza.
Okay. How about Miss Agnia? Is it clear?
It's clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for the audience who have raised the question, and thank you for Miss Rhiza for answer it completely. Okay, thank you. And then I will deliver the summarize the summary. So what is water purification? Water purification is a process by which undesired chemical compounds, which is organic and inorganic materials and biological contaminations, are removed from water. And then for the system, the first thing to do is water intake, and then there is coagulation, and then there is also sedimentation for the second process. And then there is filtration, which is setting the clear water to go through said size filter machine. And then for the last, there is purified water distributions. Okay, I think that's all for this seminar. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.